and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Okay, we're going to play a video that we played yesterday, and it stars everyone's favorite independent commentator, Cenk Uygur, talking about elections. Now, I already played this video, but something caught my attention on Hardlands Media as soon as I posted this on Phoenix, because that's what I'm going to call Twitter from now on, Phoenix. So, so recently some people put some fire under my fire that I posted on Phoenix. And I think it's only fair that we do share it and talk about it. So real quick, as I pull up this tweet that was brought up, I want to once again remind all of you what Cenk Uygur said in regards to the 2016 Democratic primary. Listen carefully. Listen extremely carefully.
I wouldn't trust. I wouldn't. I wouldn't trust anybody. Okay, so look, when he asked for a recount, I said hell yeah. When he asked for a hand recount, I said hell yeah. Why? Progressives have been asking to verify elections for decades now, right? But when some Bernie supporters back in 2016 said, "Oh no, Hillary stole the election from Bernie in the primary,"
remember, he's talking about the 2016 primary. There's plenty of evidence of what happened with the DNC and the little shenanigans that they were playing, including working with Hillary Clinton. After all, Tulsi Gabbard heroically stepped down from the DCCC because she was calling it out. Remember? I think we all do.
Primaries. I said, look, when you're talking about how they set up the debates, how they funneled money from the donors to the state Democratic parties, that's true. Okay. But if you're talking about evidence of rigged elections, you have to come with frickin' evidence. And our side didn't. So I said, no, I don't care how angry you get at me. Hillary Clinton did not steal the votes in those elections in the primary in 2016.
I hope all of you heard him say that. I hope all of you did. Hey, someone should tell this to Nico House and the Convo Couch crew and all those that have sacrificed their time and energy and what they did during 2016 when there were only just a handful of brave individuals who heroically stepped forward to acknowledge and investigate and call out what the DNC, the DCCC, what corporate media and the Clinton campaign were doing to deny Bernie Sanders a nomination and ignoring the election fraud that was taking place during the Democratic primary. In fact, let's have democracy in the chat. Do you remember when people were talking about how, again, Hillary Clinton was stealing the Democratic primary from Bernie Sanders? Do we remember when Donna Brazile did her oh so fantastic book? Do we all remember certain incidences happening in different states where polling stations were being shut down? Type yes if you do remember. Type no if you don't. I'm not going to give you a number, but here, one more time, because you have to hear it again. Let's just hear it one more time.
Everything. How can you blame somebody for not trusting the FBI or everything in 2000? That's a good question. I wouldn't trust. I wouldn't. Can I answer? I wouldn't trust anybody. Okay, so look, when he asked for a recount, I said hell yeah. When he asked for a hand recount, I said hell yeah. Why? Progressives have been asking to verify elections for decades now, right? But when some Bernie supporters back in 2016 said, "Oh no, Hillary stole the election from Bernie in the primaries," I said, look, when you're talking about how they set up the debates, how they funneled money from the donors to the state Democratic parties, that's true. Okay. But if you're talking about evidence of rigged elections, you have to come with frickin' evidence. And our side didn't. So I said, no, I don't care how angry you get at me. Hillary Clinton did not steal the votes in those elections in the primary in 2016. So when you get to Trump, if he says, hey, I want to recount, great. But they did. They recounted 3 times. They did hand recounts. Then they went to court 60 times.
So now that you heard that, so let me just pull up this fire that I posted on Phoenix, because that's what I'm going to call Twitter. Here was our coverage of yesterday's show. We did a clip where Cenk states that the Bernie campaign was not rigged and that Trump, he's still triggered by Trump. So, you know, I noticed a lot of people put some commentary here. We got some wonderful, lovely people saying that Cenk is a fraud. And then this person, diehard tennis fan, posted some fire under my fire. And he said this is a documentary I was talking about. It was produced by TYT and then removed a few years later on their channel. Thankfully, it's still on their smaller channels that no one watches anymore. To which this wonderful person who wrote, they're frauds, as being TYT being frauds. Again, had a wonderful conversation with all these lovely people. And in fact, I did inform a diehard tennis fan to please download and copy it. Because guess what, folks? Grab some popcorn. We're going to watch TYT's little documentary on what happened in the California primary. Let's play it for all you lovely people.
Less than a week to go before the Golden State primary. The new NBC News Wall Street Journal Marist poll has a tight race in California.
Wow! Senator Bernie Sanders seeming to gain momentum in California, which holds its primary in a week.
Clinton needs the win to try to remove any legitimate rationale for him to remain in the race.
A Bernie Sanders win in California is a political earthquake.
Sanders actually has a 1-point lead, 48-47.
It looks to me like we got a lot of people here ready for a political revolution.
But the headlines will be Clinton clinches a number of delegates needed to win the nomination, but loses California.
Now, listen, we're going to be watching just a few minutes of this because, again, I think Cenk and TYT have forgotten that they did this. I posted the YouTube link in the chat. And yes, this will be difficult to watch. But I'm not going to give you a homework assignment, wink, wink, and tell you to download this video to make sure it remains. Because I think when Cenk Uygur was on that podcast, he was saying that Hillary Clinton did not. Well, gee, TYT, why'd you do a documentary then?
First time in our nation's history that a woman will be a major party's nominee.
Oh, God, Hill Dog.
Well, you could be surprised to learn that as many as 3 million votes are left uncounted this morning and that it could be weeks before they have all been tallied.
Potential million or more, maybe 2 million. I even today heard 3 million potentially ballots still to be counted.
How many people did you guys turn away today?
Hillary Clinton is currently leading by about 440,000 votes. So California is not a done deal.
I look forward to the full counting of the votes in California, which I suspect will show a much closer vote than the current vote tally.
My name is Carissa.
I'm Sarah Watts.
My name is Meg Pinto.
My name's Alex, and I decided to be a poll worker on June 7th, 2016.
Now, all these people got interviewed by TYT, and you will see their microphone logo soon. I'll keep my pausing to a minimum, but like I said, folks, Cenk, did you forget you did this or that you gave a green light to this? Do you have new evidence now? Because again, folks, this documentary is 40 minutes long. We're not going to watch the whole thing. We'll probably watch about, just the early intro of it. But you need to know that this is happening and that Cenk Uygur conveniently forgot.
Poll worker.
I was a poll inspector.
$20 million will do that to you.
Was a poll inspector in San Gabriel, California. I got involved because I wanted to be on the other side of things when I saw all the problems that were happening all over the country.
Decreases in voter turnout have been found in states that require photo IDs to vote.
With some people still in line to cast their ballots.
Many Brooklyn residents who thought they were registered showed up to vote, only to find their names were not on the list.
We need to count all provisional ballots.
And say, shut the fucking election down.
We deny people the right to vote.
Last speaker.
Was that a young Nico House? The answer is yes, it was.
I really just felt like somebody responsible needed to be there. And yeah, we have 4,700 precincts in Los Angeles County, but at least at one precinct, I knew that I was going to be thorough enough to make sure that I could do what I can.
So I get my own polling place and, I set everything up, manage the staff, and I go over with one of the staff to deliver all of the supplies and the ballots, on election night.
I originally just applied to be a poll worker. When we went through the training a few days before that, they insisted that the inspectors were seasoned people who'd been doing this for years. So if we had any problems, the inspector would be there to help us out. And then 6 days before, I get a call to be the inspector. with absolutely no additional training.
I'm standing with Henry B. Stanton, one of the county's most experienced inspectors. Thanks for your time, Henry. Henry.
Oh, you're very welcome.
The only thing they really ask you is, hey, do you want to be an inspector? Do you want to be in charge? And if you say yes, that's it. That's what qualifies you to be an inspector.
Well, there was no selection process.
A lot of people just sign up to get paid that day and don't really have anything vested in the democratic process.
If you didn't really do your homework and you didn't sit down and learn this like it was the fucking SATs, then you were really going to have problems because it was all on you.
LA County was so short poll workers, they were giving out inspector jobs as soon as the day before.
We need people that actually know what they're doing to walk in. You can't just pull someone off the street. And that's actually what they suggest that you do. If someone doesn't show up, if it's really, really busy, if there's somebody in there asking you questions about being a poll worker, you can literally pull them off, offer them $80 and just put them on the line.
On election day, within my group chat, my friend who was a poll worker basically put out an SOS asking if anyone could please come help at her polling location because it was a mess. Am I allowed to curse? It was a shit show.
Been a 3-ring shit show.
It was.
Now, wait a minute. I think I saw TYT's microphone logo there. Did you see it too? Don't worry, you'll see it again.
Chaos.
So right after voting at my polling location, I just drove over to help out. So I wasn't planning on being a poll worker that day.
The hiring process for these poll workers is there's just nothing. You want in, you got it.
Everybody was confused and nobody was totally qualified to be doing that job.
Sadly, I was significantly more informed than the actual poll workers who underwent training.
Knowing the correct procedures is key to running a successful polling place.
The in-person training was inadequate.
They went through everything as fast as they could.
Well, it's a lot of information to come to speed with, quickly.
Honestly, very confusing.
They are rolling you through like cattle.
It was just thrown at you very quickly.
The way that voters are informed about their duties and rights is absolutely appalling. But it's like drinking out of a fire hose, 100 pages of information.
Whatever happens, it is all in the books.
They're like, oh, if something bad happens, don't call anybody. Look at this first. In the heat of the moment.
Yes, because that's what will save you in an emergency. Reading a book. Now, look, I like to read a book too, I like to read science fiction or history books, but when it's an emergency, especially when it comes down to something very important, such as election integrity, yeah, that book ain't going to help.
And people are yelling at you, and it's 90 degrees in your precinct, and this is what you have to look at to see and troubleshoot the situation.
The people running the training class said at the beginning that the class can be 2 hours or it can be 3 hours if everyone has a bunch of questions. And so they would prefer it if we didn't have a bunch of questions.
The question and answer segment was not allowed.
That was it. And then you hand in your stub, which would be $25, and then you're on your way. One training.
And don't forget, you will be working with other poll workers and your coordinator will only be a phone call away should you need assistance.
That was so deadpan.
No one was reachable. No one was able to give us any help. The coordinator came in sometime in the middle of the day saying that she was representing 3 other polling places. And there was another polling place at the top by the Hollywood sign with 1 person running it. A polling place with 1 person. She took 1 person from us to help this other person out who she said was not all there.
We want to go to Brad Perry because Brad Perry is in a very interesting polling location.
We're over here at Claremont Mortuary. Good morning. Have you voted here before? Is this your first time at the mortuary? Casket or voting? Voting? Okay. Didn't know someone's come here to get a casket or anything.
Voting at a mortuary. Hey, democracy's already dead, so why not? I feel like crying too. I can't believe a lot of us fell for that fraud, Bernie. And by the way, Cenk, did you forget you did this again? Cenk, hold on. Just a quick reminder.
Good question. I wouldn't trust any.
Again, we're going to play this video again, just real quick.
I wouldn't I wouldn't trust anybody.
Okay, so look, when he asked for a recount, I said, hell yeah. When he asked for a hand recount, I said, hell yeah. Why? Progressives have been asking to verify elections for decades now, right? But when some Bernie supporters back in 2016 said, oh, no, Hillary stole the election from Bernie in the primaries.
Uh-huh. Cenk, did that 20 million help you forget that Katzenberg cash?
I said, look, when you're talking about how they set up the debates, how they funneled money from the donors through the state Democratic parties, that's true. Okay. But if you're talking about evidence of rigged elections, you have to come with frickin' evidence. And our side didn't. So
then what's this, Cenk? What is this?
It was disappointing. It was disappointing because 5 people out of 6 poll workers didn't know about all the idiosyncrasies of how to handle voters. They're voting for the president, and we are the front lines to making their vote matter.
It's just, I don't even see how there can be accountability if there's no proper training to begin with. So how can you blame the person doing something wrong if they're not receiving the kind of information that they need to receive in order to do their job properly?
It's imperative that poll workers know what's going on because...
Wait a minute. Is that the TYT logo? No. Are they bringing in facts and information to show that some shenanigans happened in California? What? Cenk? That's not what you said earlier.
As the entire election process actually hinges on the poll workers because they decide who gets to vote and how they get to vote. And then that's how we elect our officials. So if they don't know what they're doing, then we don't have a functioning democracy.
I'm sure.
Hey. I hate to break this to you, my lovelies. We don't have a democracy. That ain't gonna happen, okay? Bill of Rights, Magna Carta, social contract. You kids in your hip hop.
Show the way for you. It sounds like they're desperate.
And like 20 minutes later, I get another phone call from somebody who says, oh yeah, we can have this stuff delivered to my house. I have a 4 o'clock training to be a poll inspector.
Guys, what the Well, first off, you take all the stuff that's in the precinct, even the voting machines, live ballots, everything just goes into your house.
Every single study comes to the same conclusion that the machine.
Whoa, hey, dude, you're trying to click for Bernie. That's not Bernie's name. That's for some reason when you click on Bernie's name, it's going to Michael Steinberg. Cenk, Cenky, Fat Tony. Hey, buddy. You guys captured something on your documentary, Uncounted, the true story of the California primary. Here, I'm going to click copy and paste it and put this in the live stream chat. And I hope, boy, oh boy, I sure do hope that all you lovely, good, beautiful people might kind of, sort of, maybe download it in the live stream chat. Yes, go ahead. You can still watch. You could do 2 things at the same time. I believe in you because you want to know why? You have more honor and integrity than TYT or Cenk. You're better than them. That's why. And I believe in you.
Machines are unreliable, they're vulnerable, and they can be hacked.
You were brought a broken machine. They don't test them first?
I can't answer for the county.
Okay.
The first problem that we had was our ballot machine broke.
It hasn't worked all day, and they're all voting provisional.
It is insane to me that the voting machines are just dropped off. They didn't even check my ID when they brought them to my house. I could be anybody. They don't know me. They didn't do any sort of background check on me.
So it wasn't very secure because I have to unlock the box to go through the ballots, to go through all the supplies, to make sure I have everything I need.
Just the ballot boxes has sealed.
But then I literally have the ballots and I have the ink thing and I could actually go through and boss them if I wanted to. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing, now that I think about it, there's nothing that would have stopped if we had filled out 200 ballots ahead of time and just made sure that they matched the ballots in our box. We could have replaced every single person's ballot if we wanted to.
Our voting system is definitely not as secure as I would think it would need to be to decide the president of the United States.
A great democracy does not make it harder to vote than to buy an assault weapon.
There's so many things that you can mess up as a clerk walking in off the street. They just pull you off the street, that you're literally taking, that person is in charge of hundreds of votes and they don't even know the rules to make it a valid vote to help the voter. They're literally making it worse.
Or it said people were being put in provisional envelopes when they had no party preference ballots. Yeah, we did that as well. We're trying our best.
The human error is going to happen somewhere along the lines where their vote struggles to even be counted.
I know for a fact that there are ballots that are invalid.
It's like the game Mousetrap.
Reason to vote won't be counted in California.
Now, again, hold on. I don't want to get us copyright strike or anything like that nature. But let's go ahead and now move on. Just a little fast forward. Because, again, we could watch the whole thing, but it's only 40 minutes long. And oops, oh no, what am I doing? I'm click copying, pasting the link. And oh no, currently, I am right now posting it in the live stream chat. I certainly hope none of you beautiful, lovely people will click and download the link so that people never forget that TYT did this. And by the way, again, one more time from Cenk. One more time from Cenk.
Can I answer?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust anybody.
Okay, so look, when he asked for a recount, I said, hell yeah. When he asked for a hand recount, I said, hell yeah. Why? Progressives have been asking to verify elections for decades now, right? But when some Bernie supporters back in 2016 said, oh, no, Hillary stole the election from Bernie in the primaries, I said, look, when you're talking about how they set up the debates, how they funneled money from the donors through the state Democratic parties, that's true, okay? But if you're talking about evidence of rigged elections, you have to come with frickin' evidence. And our side didn't.
Cenk, what is this?
Who took the time to vote, made the effort, educated themselves, went through the process, and now will be disenfranchised. Like, that's a whole stadium of people.
Your vote could be the one that counts.
It can? Oh, thank you, classic 1950s lady. My vote counts. Not on this YouTube channel. The king is nuts.
A difference of only a few votes can decide an election.
After seeing how many people, how many young people have been just pulled into this election and having this be the result or this what happened, you know, during their first experience vote.
Hey, remember registering to vote? Remember, hey, to my fellow hip millennials. And yeah, maybe some Gen Zs. I don't know if some of you were old enough to vote in the 2016 primary, but, you know, y'all remember doing this? Waiting in lines for hours and hours and hours. Hey, Cenk, you remember this, right? Janky. You do know the TYT did this, right? Boy, oh boy. Hold on. Oh my goodness. My hands got a mind of their own. I just copied the link again and I'm going to post it in the live stream chat.
Voting. It makes me feel sad.
After being a poll inspector,
whatever you all do, don't download the video. Please don't do that. Download the video. Download the video. Download the video. Download the video.
I feel like democracy doesn't exist.
Yes! You have awakened! It doesn't.
Well, jaded is an understatement.
It was soul crushing, to be honest.
I did not feel like it was democracy that day. It can be a little disappointing.
Did you see it? Was that TYT? Look, TYT.
Honest, I did not feel like it was democracy that day. It can be a little.
What the heck? Come on, Cenk. TYT. What?
A little disappointing at times to think that this is our democracy.
Democracy would allow equal access to voting. They wouldn't have restrictions to voting.
It was really disheartening to see so many people have to go through so much just to be able to vote. It's a basic right.
Less and less people are involved in our democratic process. Why is that? Because maybe it's not such a democratic process after all.
Just the fact that they have those ballots and it's up to their discretion whether or not your vote counts bothers me. What is it that we're doubting about these votes? They skipped a step. I get it. They might have forgotten to sign something. They might have done something incorrectly. They weren't on a voter roll when they should have been. Their party preference was switched.
Might have moved recently.
All of these reasons, to me, don't seem like good reasons for a person's vote in a presidential election not to be counted. It seems like the process is coming before the right.
I believe in democracy. I believe it can work. It made me believe that there's less democracy here in the United States, definitely.
The reason that I volunteered to do this today was because I know how screwed up and broken this system is, and I wanted a firsthand account, and this freaks me out.
This is about our basic right to vote. And I believe the system itself is so disorganized and there's such little due diligence that there's absolutely no way that we still retain that basic right. Because when it comes down to it, if you can't have a fair election, then who even cares what's on the ballot?
A true democracy does not decide the winner before all the votes are counted correctly.
I used to believe in this democracy. I'm still trying to, but it needs help.
Would you ever participate in this process again? How does this make you feel?
It's kind of discouraging, actually. I'm like, I don't really want to do this anymore, but the part inside me that's like, I'm not going to let them win is like, no, I have to be a part of this again.
I feel obligated to do it again. I feel obligated to.
And we're going to stop here. But she's a better person than me. I'll be clear here with this. But again, just to play this again one more time, because again, shout out to you, the audience, for bringing this to my attention. Oh my goodness, my hand has a mind of its own. I am clicking on the link to it, and I want to play this video again one more time of Cenk saying that the 2016 primary wasn't rigged. And heaven forbid, please, whatever you do, don't download the video and save it. Don't share it to others. Share, download.
FBI or everything in 2000.
That's a good question.
I wouldn't trust anybody.
Okay, so look, when he asked for a recount, I said, hell yeah. When he asked for a hand recount, I said, hell yeah. Why? Progressives have been asking to verify elections for decades now, right? But when some Bernie supporters back in 2016 said, oh no, Hillary stole the election from Bernie in the primaries, I said, look, when you're talking about how they set up the debates, how they funneled money from the donors through the state Democratic parties, that's true, okay? But if you're talking about evidence of rigged elections, you have to come with frickin' evidence. And our side didn't.
Oh, Cenk. How could you forget? How could you forget? Which again, I have to say again, when we post stuff on Phoenix, and I post my viral fires, I gotta say, I wasn't expecting this, and I had an outstanding conversation with all the people who posted. But diehard tennis fan, capitalism kills, wonderful conversation with that fire of a chat. This is where you, the audience, is awesome. This is a documentary I was talking about. It was produced by TYT, then removed a few years later on their channel. Thankfully, it's still on their smaller channel that no one watches anymore. Yep. And of course, at Hard Lens Media, we posted our fire there. So please tell me you downloaded and keep this video safe somewhere. I haven't downloaded it yet, but I will now, based on your advice, as you should. Thanks for telling me, Kit. I'm a huge fan of your channel, as you should be. I mean, this in the best way possible. Hard Lens Media reminds me of TYT from 10, 12 years ago. You guys don't have that many resources, but you guys do the best job possible. Well, thank you. Because you, the audience, make this happen. So how should we end this segment? Obviously, Cenk has forgotten, but I just want to let you all know that, again, oh my goodness, my hand has a mind of its own. I am clicking the link and posting it here in the live stream chat. That's what I just did. So how do we end this? I want to end this with two quotes. First, from Homer Simpson, when he said, when will the people ever learn democracy never works? And I want to end this segment with another great quote from a great champion who believes in democracy and republicanism, Chancellor Palpatine. It is with great reluctance that I've agreed to this calling. I love democracy. I love the republic. Once this crisis has abated, I will lay down the powers you have given me. Because after all, democracy in this republic of ours, it kind of sort of maybe works. A type 1, if you think, yes, kid, it works, and I trust it entirely with my soul. A type 2, no, dude, what are you talking about? At the end of the day, it's important that we don't forget the past. But some people want to forget the past. Or forget what they used to do. Keep your heads on a swivel, folks. We're still in 2023. Wait till you get a load of 2024.